Hi, Rob.
Well, that's odd.
What?
Well, normally when we do a crossover, it's for a really bad movie.
Yeah?
Oh, no.
It's a good sign.
Ideas for a fourth Jurassic Park film date as far back as 2001 following the release of Jurassic Park 3. Spielberg planned to produce the movie with Kathleen Kennedy and Joe Johnston returning as director, with William Monahan penning the script under the title Jurassic Park Extinction.
Monahan's early drafts supposedly included the dinosaurs migrating to the Costa Rican mainland, whilst a team of experts, including Dr. Alan Grant and Dr. Ian Malcolm, would chart an expedition to restrict their spread and prevent an ecological disaster.
However, by 2005, Monahan left the project to work on Kingdom of Heaven, and the script was then rewritten by John Sayles, who produced 2 drafts, neither of which Spielberg was happy with, and the project was shelved. His draft reportedly involved a group of soldiers who had been genetically modified with dinosaur DNA as the main antagonists. Sounds sensible.
Ugh, that is so terrible.
2 years later, Johnston dropped out of the director's chair due to a growing lack of interest in the project, choosing to direct The Wolfman instead, and Kathleen Kennedy also left after being chosen to be the head of Lucasfilm, and then ruined Star Wars.
Another 2 drafts were then produced in 2011 by Mark Protosevich, but both Spielberg and Kennedy felt that the film didn't have an adequate story, until they finally got a script they were happy with in 2012, written by Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver.
The pair's script incorporated 3 ideas that were originally developed by Spielberg: a fully functioning dinosaur theme park, a human who has a close relationship with trained raptors. But how? They're not bloody dogs, they're merciless predators.
I mean, there are some people in the United States who do have some pet lions and tigers, and there's people who have had relationships with crocodiles and alligators. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and they're gonna end up fucking eaten. But I guess it's Chris Pratt, so he can do anything.
I don't control the raptors, it's a relationship. It's based on mutual respect.
Just like my mutual relationship with Godzilla. He's lovely to me. Sent me to hospital last week, the rascal. And a human-eating dinosaur that escapes the park.
By January 2013, a release date was set for June the next year, and a month later Colin Trevorrow was chosen as director. He and his writing partner Derek Connolly rewrote Jaffa and Silver's draft of the script, while still retaining Spielberg's 3 story ideas, and added in the idea of dinosaurs being genetically altered in a lab. They even successfully requested that the release date be pushed back a year in order to perfect the script. In regards to casting, The Rock was actually the first choice for Owen, but he was deemed too expensive, and other choices included Chris Pine, Garrett Hedlund, Armie Hammer, Henry Cavill, Jason Statham, Josh Brolin, John Krasinski, and Glenn Howerton, before instead casting Chris Pratt, who instantly accepted the job as he was a huge fan of the franchise.
Over the course of the movie's lengthy development, several cast members from previous movies were expected to come back, but various scheduling conflicts and Richard Attenborough's retirement from acting in 2008 prevented this from happening. However, Trevorrow and Connolly stated that they didn't want to bring the characters back for fan service, and would only do so if there was a logical reason for them to be involved in the story.
That's what they all say.
Can he slow down?
Nope.
Filming began in Hawaii from April to August of 2014, and this film marks the first instance in the franchise where the dinosaurs were primarily created using CGI as opposed to practical animatronics, instead being represented on set by puppeteers wearing grey suits with fluorescent dots on, wearing bicycle helmets to represent the raptors' heads. Okay, the entire cast deserve Oscars for being able to do this film with a straight face.
Exactly.
Jurassic World was finally released on June 10th, 2015. The film was an insane hit, smashing over 1.6 billion worldwide and becoming the 3rd highest grossing film in history at the time, and reviews were mostly positive, mainly praising the film as the best Jurassic Park sequel to date, including both Spielberg and Sam Neill. However, there was some criticism of the film's depiction of women, particularly due to a lengthy scene in which a female character is repeatedly tormented by the dinosaurs before being killed. I mean, it's horrific, and I do feel pretty sorry for the woman. We know absolutely nothing about her, so it must have really been a good death scene, because I actually cared about this unknown woman. That's how you do a death scene, I guess. And the decision to have Claire wear high heels for the entire movie was criticised.
Claire, for some reason, waits for the T-Rex to be right near her before running, and somehow still outruns it in fucking high heels!
I mean, Judy Greer has such a bad reputation for being a bad on-screen mother. First this, and then Michael Myers. Here she decides to send her kids to Jurassic World. On their own. Has she read what happened years ago?
Something chases you.
Why is she joking around about it? We know for a fact this has happened before. Sure, their aunt is there, but she rejects the kids. And if you ever had any doubt about how shit she is...
You don't know how old your nephews are?
I'm just baffled and confused. Everyone is just surprised when the same thing happens again. All this happened after you reopened a park that went horrifically and irredeemably wrong 3 times before. I mean, I wonder if it's going to happen again. I wonder.
Eventually, one of these things will eat somebody.
Well, yes. What the fuck did you expect?
These people never learn.
I just can't help but feel they should have all these backup safety precautions in case something like this happens on a dinosaur-infested island. It's the 4th time it's happened!
Yeah, it's almost like we shouldn't have sent you alone to an island full of dinosaurs that had already gone wrong 3 times before. This mum needs to meet Kate McAllister from the Home Alone movies. They get on super well.
And they try so desperately to justify this movie's existence.
John Hammond entrusted me with his dying wish, and not once did he mention profits.
His dying wish. Okay, so John Hammond decides to try to open this park and loads of people die. To the point he's like, okay, my bad guys, I must admit this was a terrible idea. Then, it turns out, actually, he's opened a second park and he sends people there for a laugh because he's a crazy old man, he needs to get his kicks doing something, and the same thing happens. Tons of other people die again. And then, he's on his deathbed and this crazy old bastard decides, before I die, please, open up the park and do it again!
Doesn't make sense.
I mean, her son is Iron Man's friend, so maybe they're in good hands. Even if his brother is a massive douchebag.
Doesn't matter, okay? I'm gonna be gone in 2 years anyway. I mean, all my friends' parents are divorced and... Hey, knock it off.
What's he even doing here? Man's not even emoting, Jeffrey Dahmer motherfucker.
No, I'm sorry, but you could put the horniest man in history on this bloody island. You could put Ron Jeremy on there, and he would still care more about the fucking dinosaurs than pussy. Why does the movie want us to not care about dinosaurs? Bryce Dallas Howard plays the owner of the park, Claire, and she is so unlikable. She does not care how many lives she puts at risk, as long as she makes a profit. She just wants to protect their assets and not people's lives, and she's one of the main heroes.
Bryce Dallas Howard's character isn't much to like, but I must admit she does a great job with her performance. The raptor flying through her window as she's driving looks awesome. Some of these shots are great.
I must admit though, she does go on an emotional journey. She changes as a character and becomes gradually likeable and learns a lesson, so she does go through a transition. The same with the older brother. He learns not to be a dick to his little brother and focus on what's important, and I really appreciated that.
Although there's not much transition. He's just a prick and then randomly isn't. I do think it looks cool to finally see the park open to the public. But the sequels to this film confirm that The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 are canon.
And Mark?
It's over.
So, assuming they're all set in the same year they came out, how has this all happened so quickly? We're supposed to believe that after another attack, they managed to get the funding and gain approval to rebuild the park again, and get someone to train raptors, and for humans to supposedly grow bored of dinosaurs in what, 10 to 14 years max?
That's the problem. The movie shows people have grown bored of dinosaurs, and that's why I hate these sequels. They lessen the impact and degrade the dinosaurs every single time and make them mean less and less each time.
How would people even grow bored of dinosaurs? We all still flock to zoos and safari parks to see tigers and lions, and that's after centuries. You'd think we'd grow bored of dinosaurs after 15 years? Hell, they say people are bored of dinosaurs, but then admit that there's 22,000 people at the park.
What's the live count? 22,216.
And the crowd do not act like people who are bored of dinosaurs.
That's the problem, I can't support any of these characters. They are textbook twats. All the carnage and deaths from the previous films and they just go and try it again. They have no morals, so I can't like any of them.
How did Claire even manage to get this job? She seems to have no fucking idea about dinosaurs or even animals. She can't seem to comprehend that a creature like this might actually be somewhat intelligent. They're raptors!
I just don't think anyone's particularly interesting or especially a good actor. Yes, even Chris Pratt, the charisma vacuum.
Get used to them bickering though.
Prints out an itinerary for a night out.
I'm an organized person.
Now, what kind of a diet doesn't allow tequila?
All of them, actually.
And then Owen and Claire are suddenly a couple. But don't worry, it's not random and forced because they hinted at it earlier.
That's why you and I never had a second date.
See? I do think Chris Pratt is the best part of the film. He really sells it as a big threat. Everyone else is just an unlikable douchebag. A popular fan theory is that Owen is actually the grown-up version of the boy Dr. Grant scared with a raptor claw at his dig site in the original film, which explains his understanding of raptor behaviour. However, the original actor dismissed the idea, saying, "Guys like me don't grow up to look like Chris Pratt." But he's just so charming and likeable.
I mean, remember when the T-Rex was the scariest thing in the world? Yeah, in these films you just have to keep making them bigger and bigger until we don't care about the majestic and terrifying ones we used to. Excellent.
The Indominus Rex.
We needed something scary and easy to pronounce. You should hear a 4-year-old try to say Archaeornithomimus.
We should hear you try to say it.
But she just did. He said, "Oh, I want to hear you pronounce it." She literally just said it. Who wrote this? She literally just said it. She said the line, and then Chris Pratt replies, "I'd like to hear you say the line." She just fucking did.
The lab uses DNA to create an all-new dinosaur, but it doesn't even look cool. I'm sorry, but it doesn't.
They do hype its intelligence really well, although it pretends to climb an entire wall to trick the humans to go inside, and nobody noticed? Not sure why it takes so long to act either. It turns out it clawed out its own tracking implant too, and it's able to camouflage. This was actually taken from the original novel for The Lost World, where the Carnotaurus developed the ability to change colour like a chameleon, though there isn't any scientific evidence to back this up. It's a cool idea that this dinosaur was genetically created by a lab as well. It opens up all the possibilities for these scientists to literally create whatever the fuck they want. There is some decent suspense as Owen hides under a car and covers himself in petrol to disguise the scent. It is really clever. But now that this super duper uber dinosaur is on the loose, now is when they panic and decide to close the park, right?
Evacuate the island.
We'd never reopen.
Oh, in that case, never mind then. As you were, everyone. Not sure how just 4 raptors alone will be enough, though. It's a hybrid! Look at the size of it! But then, we get a massive, surprising plot twist.
That thing's part raptor.
That dinosaur that looks like a raptor, acts like a raptor, sounds like a raptor, and moves like a raptor. I think it's part raptor!
Yeah, this is so dumb.
Okay, the T-Rex looks epic and way better than the ugly piece of shit we've seen for 2 hours.
Bryce Dallas Howard?
They've robbed the raptors of all their menacing qualities. I don't even know how putting your hands out and saying whoa somehow calms them down. What's he doing?
I have had enough of your shenanigans. Your time is up. Don't shoot! What the hell are you doing? Yeah. I've got you now. Idiot.
I do actually really like the idea. It's something new, and as explained, some people do this. Him raising the raptors and gaining their trust is a really cool idea, and I'm all for it. I do feel like the movie has some heart as Owen locks eyes with one of his raptors before they die. It is so sad. It has a really touching moment as Owen reaches out to the raptors and releases them before the Indominus shows up, and they choose him over the monster. It's a really sweet moment. It's so sad when they get thrown into the fire as well. I mean, it looks awesome, but still.
But the issue is they position Chris Pratt's character as someone who can't die or ever get hurt. He's always presented as the Steven Seagal of these movies, and it's just so cringe and annoying. He's comically badass. He's like Chuck Norris. The movie does sometimes have magical scenes that match the style of the original, and surprisingly the characters do seem to genuinely care, but they're rare. And dinosaurs look like crap. They don't even make an effort at any point to use practical methods.
The special effects are terrible in this film. At no point do the dinosaurs look like they are actually there. They always look fake and they always look crap.
The movie just turns Jurassic Park into big dumb fun. It's been put in the same direction as the Terminator franchise. People took it over and thought, oh, this is just stupid fun, even though it wasn't. Jurassic Park had way more going for it than just stupid dumb fun. But now this is just surface level, a giant dinosaur movie. No better than a straight to video one. Jurassic Park had heart, it had magic, it had spectacle, it had characters. This can't even give me one likeable character, let alone an interesting one. Instead it's just dinosaurs, and they try and give us a new one, but it isn't even as cool as the ones that already exist. And call me crazy, but I never wanted to see raptors running alongside humans into battle. But I do like it when the raptors turn. See, we didn't need this massive new dinosaur. The raptors alone are terrifying. It should have always been like this. It's a really tense scene.
Someone has to stay behind.
Oh, no, I have a boyfriend.
Was that supposed to be funny? It was the cringiest joke ever. He tried to kiss her, but she had a boyfriend. That was it. How is that a joke?
I mean, to be fair, it plays off the cliche of the nerdy guy actually getting the girl, but then, oh no, just kidding, it doesn't actually happen. I thought it was quite funny. They also clearly didn't learn from the original as they drive these pods, but they still have full control of them. They can literally drive them into the dinosaurs if they wanted to. They've also been missing for a while. When is Morgana from Merlin going to report them as having disappeared?
I don't know, I've been looking everywhere for them.
Oh, there we go. Better late than ever, I suppose. I mean, it clearly says restricted, and they still decide to drive in on an island filled with dinosaurs! It could be a T-Rex, you morons! To be fair, it is quite a decent scene as they're attacked in it, but it is so hard to feel sorry for complete idiots. The whole sequence is really well handled if you just completely ignore the terrible special effects. And thank God they're able to outsmart the super intelligent hybrid dinosaur who can't swim for some reason.
You jumped.
Well, yes! Thank you for confirming. But don't worry, we'll pay homage, and by which I mean completely rip off the original by having a sad scene of a dying dinosaur. Aww. They do have some nice throwbacks to the original, which brings the nostalgic element out quite well. They do have this douchebag character who just thinks about money, but he wants to use the raptors to take on the hybrid, and he's supposed to be this unlikable douchebag, but I hate the fact that he actually does speak a lot of sense.
What are you going to do with all these people? You got 20,000 people here. What are you going to do? They have no place to go. That thing is a killing machine.
I mean, it's one thing to want to use the raptors for their benefit, but he seems to actively enjoy the Indominus being on the loose and killing people, so we can't even root for him. This Indian guy decides to be a pilot, and it's treated as this big epic moment leading to his death, but why is it such a shocking reveal? He was literally a pilot earlier!
Who's flying it?
Maybe this film does suck! I like the fact that they combine several dinosaurs to the plot of the movie. Pterodactyls are on the loose, raptors are being used against the Indominus, the T-Rex is let loose later, it's great. We do get a scene of the dinosaurs attacking the park, and it does look pretty cool. It's like the events of the previous films, but on a much grander scale. The third act is hyped really well as Owen trains his raptors with the Indominus' scent and gets them prepared. But a highly intelligent raptor can't differentiate between a real dinosaur and a hologram, and I love how they're hesitant to agree with the dude about releasing raptors, but without a second thought they'll release a goddamn T-Rex. But my god, the final fight is amazing.
This fight scene is actually cool. It's something I've actually been waiting for. I've been bored for 2 hours.
I mean, the T-Rex still gets owned at first, which is a bit shit, but it gets better. The destruction looks awesome, and it takes 3 dinosaurs to take the prick down. And despite being enemies, the T-Rex and Blue the Raptor have this newfound mutual respect and part ways, which is a sick ending. The movie is actually alright. It tries new things and isn't just the same film for the 4th time. It has some new elements in there and it does have some heart and charm. The kids are kind of pointless, they could die at any moment and nothing would really change. They have clever additions to explain why the dinosaurs aren't historically accurate.
We have always filled gaps in the genome with the DNA of other animals, and if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different.
And weirdly, the Indominus actually has more development than the damn humans. Jurassic World, in my mind, is actually an underrated installment to the franchise. It's not great, but it does a decent enough job.
I don't know, it's not the worst Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie, it's just so meh. Like, who cares? The characters were really generic and one note. It was just a dinosaur attacking movie and barely captured the heart of the first film. Even the park itself, it felt insanely magical in the first movie. This park didn't seem like it had potential. It looked, dare I say it, boring. There was just no charisma to this from the actors and nothing especially exciting. They just never have managed to recapture the lightning in a ball from Jurassic Park and they need to stop trying.
What the hell are you doing? Oops. I totally meant to do that.
Another 2 drafts were then produced in 2011 by No idea how to say that. Another 2 drafts were then produced in 2011 by Mark Protasevich. I forgot it already. Another 2 drafts were then produced in 2011 by Mark Protasevich. Protasevich. Protosevich.